Alright, this video is a kind of refresher on graphing systems of linear equations. The picture up here is one that we worked on last time, showing all these different lines graphed on the same plane, okay? And we were looking for the point where two lines intersect, remember? So if we graph the line y equals x minus 1 and the line 2x plus 2y equals 4, we were looking for the system, or the solution to our system of equations, okay, which was that one point where they intersect. Remember, we had three different kinds of lines that we ended up with, okay, three different kinds of systems. You had ones that had no solution, right? These were the ones that were parallel lines, okay? You had ones that had one solution, and that was, like we just showed, any two lines that intersect, okay? Or you had ones that had infinite solutions, and those were when it was the same line, right? When you looked at two lines that were both the same line. All right, so let's go through graphing. Just kind of a refresher on how we graphed equations, okay? So first we'll look at point-slope form. Remember, this is when y equals mx plus b, okay? When we had point-slope form, or y equals mx plus b, remember, our m stood for the slope, and our b stood for the y-intercept, okay? We use those numbers to graph our line. So if we look here, I should have given you, okay, some postcards, some post-it notes, I guess is maybe the proper way to call them. And we're going to go through kind of step by step with post-it notes, okay? So each note should be kind of piled on top of the other one. And I'll give you some time as we go through so you can show how you graphed in these different forms, okay? So for point-slope form, let's start with the equation y equals negative 2x plus 4. Okay, your first postcard should have both of these things. It should have the name of the form, and it should have this equation. So go ahead and take a second to write down both of those things. Okay, did you get them down? All right, once we have that, we're going to go, well, actually, let's look here quick. Let's write on here also what our m and our b are, okay? Our m is, remember, mx, negative 2, plus b, so plus 4, okay? So on your next post-it card, you're going to say step 1, b equals 4, okay? This is a point on our graph. Remember, this is our y-intercept, okay? So on our graph, that's the point 0, comma 4, okay? It's where it crosses our y-axis at positive 4. So it will be this point right here. Okay, so your second post-it card should somewhere show that your first step is to find your y-intercept, which is 4 in this equation, and show where that's at on a graph. So take some time and do this. Okay, if you've got that, we'll move on to step 2. Step 2, you look at your slope, your m, okay? This is our slope. For your slope, we said in this case that it was negative 2. Maybe it helps you to write this as a fraction, okay? Maybe you would like to say negative 2 over 1. Because remember, slope is rise over run, okay? If this is negative, which way will your graph be going? It'll be going somewhere down, right? So that should help us when we do our rise over our run, okay? Since it's negative. So in this case, we're going to go down 2 over 1, okay? here is another point on our graph. That is step 2 of our equation. So take a second and get this on your note card. You might need to pause the video here and then start it when you're ready for your next card. All right, step 3 is to find multiple points and draw your line. Okay, so I'm going to keep going a couple times here just so I can see where my points are. Remember, fall 2, run 1. There's another point. The rise over our run was -2, +1. Okay, I'm going to go one more time just so I know I have it. Okay, once you have this, you can draw your line through your points for your graph. Okay, this is the graphical line, y equals -2x plus 4. Okay, this should be your third card, third post-it note, your final one. All right, that's a refresher on graphing using point-slope form.